Love bombing. How they made you fall in love with a lie. I want you to think back to the beginning, the very beginning, before things got complicated, before the confusion started, before you found yourself wondering what happened to the person you fell in love with and where they went. Think about those first weeks, maybe the first few months. The attention was unlike anything you had ever experienced. They texted you constantly. They wanted to know everything about you. They made you feel like you were the most fascinating person they had ever met. Like every thought you had was worth hearing. Like every story you told was worth listening to with complete and total focus. They said things nobody had ever said to you before. Things that felt almost too good. Things that a quiet voice in the back of your mind whispered were maybe moving a little fast. But that felt so good that you chose not to listen to that voice. They made you feel chosen, special, like you had been seen, in a way nobody had ever quite seen you before. And then, at some point, something shifted. Slowly at first, then faster, until the person who made you feel more loved than you had ever felt began making you feel more confused, more anxious, more uncertain of yourself than you had ever felt. And now you are here, trying to understand how something that felt so right became something that hurt so much. This video is the answer to that question. What happened to you at the beginning was not love. It was not chemistry. It was not fate or connection or finding your person. It was love bombing. One of the most psychologically sophisticated manipulation tactics that exists. And by the end of this video, you are going to understand exactly how it worked, exactly why it worked on you specifically, and exactly what to do so it never works on you again. Stay until the very end, because the final section, how to tell the difference between genuine love and love bombing in real time, is the part that will protect you for the rest of your life. Part 1. What love bombing actually is. Love bombing is not simply being enthusiastic at the beginning of a relationship. It is not someone being genuinely excited about you. It is not the natural intensity that sometimes comes with meeting someone who genuinely moves you. Love bombing is a deliberate, and in many cases unconscious but still systematic, pattern of overwhelming someone with affection, attention, and adoration in order to create a powerful emotional dependency before they have had the opportunity to evaluate whether this person is actually safe. The goal, whether consciously intended or not, is to move so fast, to create such intensity, to establish such a powerful bond so quickly that by the time the real person begins to emerge, by the time the controlling behavior, the manipulation, the coldness, the cycle of push and pull begins, you are already so attached that leaving feels almost impossible. Think of it like this. Love bombing is the foundation. The manipulation, the control, the abuse that follows, those are the structure built on top of it. But none of that structure could be built without the foundation first. The foundation has to be poured quickly, before you can examine it, before you can test it, before you can ask whether it is solid or whether it is hollow underneath. Love bombing pours the foundation. And it pours it so warmly, so generously, so overwhelmingly, that you stand on it before you ever thought to check what it was made of. Part 2. The 7 signs of love bombing. Sign number 1. The intensity was immediate and overwhelming. Think about the pace of the beginning. How quickly did the intensity escalate? How soon were they calling you their person, talking about the future, using words like soulmate or once in a lifetime or I have never felt this way before? Genuine connection deepens over time. It grows through shared experience, through seeing each other in different situations, through the slow accumulation of trust that comes from consistent behavior across months and years. Love bombing does not have time to wait for that process. It needs to create the bond before the process can happen. So it compresses time. It creates in weeks the feeling that should take months or years to develop. And that compressed intensity, that feeling of more, faster, deeper than anything before, is the first and most important sign. Sign number 2. They made you the center of their entire universe. Not just a priority. The priority. Everything else in their life seemed to fade into the background when you were around. Their friends, their interests, their previous commitments. All of it became secondary to you, and to making sure you felt secondary to nothing. And in the beginning, this feels extraordinary. Being someone's everything. Being the thing that someone reorganizes their entire world around. But healthy people do not reorganize their entire world around someone they have known for 3 weeks. Healthy people maintain their existing relationships, their existing interests, their existing sense of self, even when they are falling in love. The person who makes you their entire universe immediately is not giving you a gift. They are creating a standard of attention that cannot be sustained. And they are creating in you an expectation of that standard, a need for it, that they will later use to control you when they inevitably withdraw it. Sign number 3. The compliments were constant and almost too perfect. Every person who has been love-bombed describes the same thing. The compliments were extraordinary, not generic, not the things anyone might say, but specific, personal, aimed with perfect precision at exactly the things you most needed to hear about yourself. The insecurity you had always carried quietly, the quality in yourself that you had never quite believed anyone else could see. The thing you had always hoped someone would recognize in you, they recognized it. Immediately, completely, effortlessly. And the praise was constant, a steady stream of it. So constant that after a while you began to need it, to feel its absence on the days it was slightly less intense, to work just a little, to restore it when it dimmed. That need, that quiet adjustment of your behavior to maintain the flow of their approval, is the trap clicking shut. Sign number 4. They established exclusivity very quickly. How soon did they start talking about commitment? How early did words like serious or exclusive or my person appear? How quickly did they make it clear, explicitly or through behavior, that they expected your complete emotional focus to be on them? And how soon after that did any behavior that suggested you had a life, interests, or connections outside of them become a source of tension? Love bombing and isolation go together. Because the love bomber needs to be your primary, and eventually only, source of emotional validation. Every connection you have outside of them is a connection that could give you perspective, could reflect back to you something they do not want you to see. The exclusivity comes early, and it feels like love. Because wanting to be with someone always can look, from the inside, almost identical to loving them deeply. The difference reveals itself only later. Sign number 5. Future faking. They talked about the future constantly. Not vague future, specific future. The trip you were going to take together, the place you were going to live, the life you were going to build, the family, the adventures, the specific shape of a shared life that felt so real and so certain that you began to believe in it completely. You made plans. You possibly made decisions about where to live, what to pursue, what to let go of, based on a future that felt absolutely certain. And then, as the love bombing faded,
As the real dynamic began to emerge, the future began to shift, become less certain. The plans became maybe. The certainty became eventually. The specific dreams became vague possibilities, and you found yourself working harder, accommodating more, asking for less, adjusting yourself further, to try to get the future back, to get back to the certainty that had felt so real. That is future faking, and it is one of the most effective tools in the love bomber's arsenal because it does not just create attachment to the person, it creates attachment to the life you built in your mind around them. Sign number 6. They reacted badly to any slowing down. What happened when you were unavailable? What happened when you had a commitment that meant you could not respond immediately? When you needed space? When you expressed any desire to slow down slightly, to let things develop at a pace that felt sustainable? If the reaction was disproportionate, if unavailability was met with hurt or guilt or pressure or withdrawal, that reaction is one of the clearest signs of love bombing. Because genuine affection respects pace. Genuine interest in someone includes interest in their comfort. Genuine care does not punish you for having needs that conflict with the other person's needs. The love bomber's intensity is not about you. It is about the bond they are building. And anything that threatens the speed or the depth of that bond, including your own reasonable desire to develop a relationship at a natural pace, is experienced as a threat to be managed. Sign number 7. The shift. And then it changed. Maybe gradually, maybe suddenly, but at some point, the overwhelming attention and affection began to reduce. The pedestal you had been placed on began to feel less stable. The criticism started, or the coldness, or the unpredictability, or the control.
And the contrast between who they were during the love bombing and who they became after was so stark that you spent enormous energy trying to get back to the beginning, trying to be who you were when they loved you like that, trying to find what you did wrong, trying to restore what felt like the real version of the relationship, not understanding that the love bombing was never the real version of the relationship. It was the recruitment phase. And once you were recruited, once the bond was established, the recruitment was over. Part 3. Why it worked on you, and why that is not a reflection of weakness. Here is the thing that nobody tells you when they explain love bombing. It works most effectively on the people who are most capable of genuine love. Not the most naive, not the least intelligent, not the most desperate. The people who are most capable of genuine connection, who can feel deeply, who can commit fully, who can build something real with someone and invest in it wholeheartedly. The love bomber identifies this capacity, often instinctively, without fully conscious strategy, and they mirror it back to you. They show you someone who loves the way you love, who feels the way you feel, who is capable of the depth of connection you are capable of. And you respond to it, because you are capable of exactly that kind of connection. Because what they were showing you looked exactly like what you were looking for. You were not fooled because you were weak. You were targeted because you were capable of something real. And your genuine capacity for real love was what the love bombing was designed to activate. Part 4. The difference between love bombing and genuine intensity. Because here is the question you are going to ask, and it is the right question. How do I know the difference? How do I know when someone is genuinely enthusiastic and when they are love bombing me?
This is the most important thing I am going to tell you in this entire video. Genuine intensity respects you. Love bombing consumes you. Genuine intensity, the real excitement of meeting someone who moves you, wants you to be comfortable, wants the pace to feel right for you, welcomes your existing life, your existing relationships, your existing sense of self as part of who you are. Love bombing needs to consume those things, needs to replace them, needs to become your primary reality as quickly as possible. Genuine intensity deepens over time as you actually get to know each other. It is earned by experience and sustained by consistent behavior. Love bombing peaks immediately and then gradually reduces as the real dynamic emerges. It cannot be sustained because it was never based on actually knowing you. It was based on the role you were being recruited to fill. Test 1. How does this person respond when you slow down? If they respond with respect, if they adjust their pace to yours, if they reassure you without pressuring you, if they make clear that your comfort matters more to them than the speed of the relationship, that is a sign of genuine feeling. If they respond with hurt, with guilt, with pressure, with withdrawal, that is love bombing. Test 2. Do they have a life? Does this person have their own friendships, their own interests, their own sense of self that exists independently of you? Or have they made you their entire world so completely and so quickly that there is nothing left of them that is not about you? Genuine people have lives, and genuine love enriches those lives rather than replacing them. Test 3. Does the intensity increase or decrease as they actually get to know you? In genuine connection, the more someone knows you, the more they care. The intimacy deepens as the knowledge deepens. In love bombing, the intensity is highest before they actually know you, and it reduces as the real dynamic begins to emerge, because the intensity was never about knowing you. It was about capturing you. Part 5. What to do right now. If you recognized your own story and what you just heard, here is what matters now. First, name what happened. What you experienced had a name. It was love bombing. It was a real thing that happens to real people who are capable of real love. And naming it is the first and most important step toward understanding it and healing from it. Second, grieve what was never real. The beginning, the love bombing phase, felt real. In the sense that you felt it, it was real. But the person who showed up in those weeks or months was not the real person. It was a performance, calibrated to capture you.
Grieving the loss of what was never real is a specific kind of grief. It is one of the strangest things a human being can do. But it is necessary, and it deserves to be done fully. Third, understand that your capacity for love is not the problem. The love bombing worked because you are capable of genuine connection. That capacity is not something to suppress or protect yourself from. It is something to protect by being more thoughtful about who gets access to it and on what timeline. Fourth, let time be your primary filter. The single most effective protection against love bombing is time. Love bombers cannot sustain the performance indefinitely, and the real patterns, the real person, emerge over time in ways that the early intensity was designed to prevent you from seeing. Slow down, not because intensity is always dangerous, but because time tells the truth in ways that intensity cannot fake forever. Fifth, trust your quiet voice. You had a quiet voice at the beginning that whispered that maybe this was moving a little fast, that wondered just slightly whether something was slightly off. You chose not to listen because what was being offered felt so good. That quiet voice is worth listening to, not instead of your excitement, alongside it, because that voice is not your fear talking, it is your wisdom, and it deserves a seat at the table. The truth that changes everything. Here is where I want to leave you. Love bombing works because it mimics something real. The overwhelming feeling of being chosen, of being seen, of being loved with an intensity that feels like it was made specifically for you. And that feeling, that experience of being deeply chosen, is something you deserve to have. Not as a manipulation, not as a recruitment tactic, not as a foundation for control, as a real thing, with a real person who shows you that intensity slowly and consistently, who earns your trust through behavior over time, who still loves you fully when they have seen all of you, who respects your pace and your existing life and your quiet voice. That person exists, and now that you know what love bombing looks like, you will not mistake the performance for the real thing again. You will recognize the real thing when it comes, because you will have given it enough time to show you what it is. If this video helped you understand something you have been trying to understand for a long time, please share it with one person who needs to see it. Because somewhere right now, someone is in the love bombing phase, feeling more chosen than they have ever felt, not yet knowing what comes next. And they deserve to have this information before the shift happens. Subscribe, because what is coming next on this channel goes even deeper into the psychology that protects you in the relationships that matter most. I will see you in the next one.